How's it going, everyone? Hope you're all doing good. Mr. Bowler back today with a collection update. Got quite a bit of new stuff recently, so quite a few records to show. Some stuff I got back in about September, and some stuff I got over Christmas. And I've also got some cassettes to show. That's right, I've finally been bitten by the cassette bug. Been thinking about picking some stuff up, but finally got around to grabbing some. As far as the cassettes go, I'm not going to go crazy with collecting these, I have to say. I'm just going to get my favourite albums and that's it, because space and all that, you know. So 6 cassettes to show first. All these are by the same band, with an absolutely amazing discography. There's one glaring omission because one of their albums is on Roadrunner Records. You may know what I'm talking about already. Let's get straight into it. So all the cassettes I picked up from are new reissues and all the Death albums. So if we have Scream Bloody Gore from 1987. Saw these on Eric's website and had to grab them. End up grabbing them from Amazon, yeah, just for the convenience of them being here like the next day. So I'm not going to show all these because they're all the same. Plain white cassettes, or shells as they're called these days. Yeah, I had to grab these. Just superb albums. I've got them on all formats now. There's the J card. Fairly simplistic. Bit of information there. Photos of the guys. So yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while and decided to pull the trigger. Get a cassette player and get some tapes. But yeah, just stick with the ones that I really like. But Death's one of those bands that's just got a perfect discography. So I had to get them all. So there's Scream Bloody Gore. The excellent Leprosy from 1988. Again, just a plain white shell. Excellent stuff. Choke on it, open casket, pull the plug, stuff like that. Just superb stuff. Brilliant album. Of course, up next, got Spiritual Healing from 1990. Another fantastic album. Excellent stuff. Great to have these on tape now. Human from 1991. An absolutely superb album. Lack of Comprehension, one of my favourite death metal songs. Just love Chuck's vocals. Excellent riffage. Brilliant stuff. Up next from 1993, we've got what I think is quite underrated, Individual Thought Patterns. People don't talk about this one as much as others. But excellent stuff. The Philosopher, the closing track on this, one of my favourite death songs. Excellent riffing in that. Brilliant stuff. So obviously there's no Symbolic because it's owned by Roadrunner, the rights to that. I did look it up on eBay and someone was selling a copy on there for £120 and that can fuck right off. So I have to hope for a reissue one day. And of course, last but not least, is the excellent progressive Sound of Perseverance from 1998. I'll get this one out and show this one as well. Again, it's just a plain white tape. Excellent stuff. Had to grab all these. Just such a strong, superb discography by an amazing band. Of course, Scream Bloody Gore, the first true death metal album as far as I'm concerned. But just a bunch of great stuff that I absolutely love. So I've finally been bitten by the cassette bug. So that's all the tapes done. Going to move on to some records now. I'm going to start off with some pop. This is a band that I absolutely loved back in the day. Who were all over TV, all over radio when I was a kid. This is Level 42 and their greatest hits. I was actually buying something else and the guy had this for sale as well, so I decided to grab it. Excellent pop, fantastic musicians. Everyone knows Mark King, the singer and bassist from this band, because he's a very talented bass player. And just an album that's full of fantastic songs that just take me straight back to my early days. Stuff on this like Running in the Family, The Sun Goes Down, Something About You. It's Over, Take Care of Yourself, Heaven in My Hands. The Chinese Way, Leaving Me Now, fantastic ballad, Lessons in Love, just a soundtrack to much simpler days before having to pay bills and all that kind of stuff. But some excellent pop. This is in amazing condition as well. It's cost me about £6 or £7. Fantastic album. Spun it about 2 or 3 times. Absolutely immaculate. Plays perfectly. Just an absolute dream of a score. You know, absolutely plays brilliantly and didn't cost a lot of money. So that's Level 42 up first. Greatest hits. That's the last of the pop. On to something now I picked up at the time of release. Megadeth, The Sick, The Dying and the Dead. So I'm not going to talk about this because I've already done a review of it. What I will say though is I was amazed how good this was. I mean, I've bought everything that Megadeth have released, and they've released some good stuff over the past 20 years, like Endgame, Dystopia. But this for me is even better than those. I bought this at the time of release, so it was nearly £40, and of course everyone's picking it up now for about half that on Amazon. So that'll teach me not to wait. But never mind. There we go. Excellent stuff from Dave Mustaine and company. Great album. Up next, Stone Temple Pilots Core. This is a reissue from their excellent debut 1992 album. Amazing stuff. These are Walmart, so they probably come from, well, they must have come from America, obviously. There's the record, some nice red vinyl with some black splatters. Amazing stuff. For me, a bit of an underrated band from the whole grunge alternative scene from the 1990s. People always talk about Nirvana, and rightfully so. Massive band. Bands like Pearl Jam, Stone Temple Pilots can sort of fly under the radar a little bit. But this is a great album. Stuff on this like Dead and Bloated, Sex Type Thing, one of my favourite riffs. Just such a great riff. Wicked Garden, excellent stuff. Creep, Piece of Pie, Plush, that was the first song I ever heard. Cracker Man, Where the River Goes. There's no bad songs on this. It's an excellent debut from 1992. Glad to finally get this. And when I say finally get this, what I mean is I won these on eBay, and over a month later, I think it was nearly 6 weeks, still hadn't turned up. So I messaged the seller and I said, are these coming? He's like, oh yeah, sorry, I've had COVID, removed office and all that. I was like, but you could bloody tell people rather than just 6 weeks later after you've paid your money, you still receive nothing. Not very good seller communication, but they got here in the end. That's Core from 1992, their debut. And I also had to grab the follow-up, Purple, from 1994, which the first album, they were definitely kind of sounding like, you know, a mixture of sort of bands that were popular at the time. Here, they were definitely morphing into more of their own sound, and this is an amazing album. Stuff on this like Vaseline, Interstate Love Song. Great tracks. Just packed with amazing songs. Great album. Scott Weiland, obviously no longer with us. That's a shame. Big Empty's fantastic as well. Let's just have a quick look. Meat Plow and Loungefly, also great songs. Here's the vinyl. Blue with that classic Atlantic label with some white sort of splattering in there. Really glad to pick these up. Been after these for a long time and finally got them for a decent price. And then they finally turned up in the post. Excellent stuff from these guys. I've got all their albums. These are the only ones I've got on vinyl at the moment though. But Stone Temple Pilots Purple from 1994 is a 10 out of 10 album. Excellent alternative rock from the 90s. Still going today with a different singer. And some of the stuff I've heard I do like, but I haven't picked it up yet. But this stuff's essential. Up next is something I grabbed back in about September. This is Zentrix and Kin from 1992. I've never heard this one before, and I wanted to get all the albums. So I grabbed this. Decent album, but definitely not as good as what come before it, has to be said. Grey vinyl with some sort of smoky black sort of splattering in it. This is the sound of a band that would definitely chase in that Metallica Black Album money. Like a lot of thrash bands were back in the early 90s. You think of albums like Testaments of Ritual, Megadeth's Canada to Extinction, stuff like that. Bands that were definitely trying to chase that more commercial money. This is okay. It's far from essential though, but I'm glad I've got it. Title track Order of Chaos is good. A Friend to You, Come Tomorrow, See Through You Another Day. Chris Astley actually sounds absolutely amazing. The vocals on this are superb. The music's good, but it's just not as strong as what they've done before. But I'm glad to have it in the collection. I'm going to be doing a Zentrix album ranking soon. I've had a couple of requests for that, so you'll be seeing that soon. Decent album from these guys. Definitely not their strongest, but definitely not terrible at the same time. On to a couple of bits I got for Christmas now. And it's more Zentrix and the 7 Words, which came out back in November. This is an excellent new album from these guys. For me, Jay Walsh, who replaced Chris Astley, has really slotted in nicely into the lineup of these guys. This is his second album with them, of course, Bury the Pain being the first from 2019. 7 Words is brilliant. I've listened to this so many times on Spotify. I was going to review it for the channel, but never actually got around to it. So if anyone does want to see a review of it, leave a message in the comments. Great stuff. Like I say, Jay slotted in nicely there. It's like he's been there all along. Nice inner sleeve. Picture of the guys. Chris Shiers, I think it is, on the bass. Yeah, that guy's really good. I saw him live at Bloodstock in 2019, and again, he's slotted into the band nicely. But you still got Christian Harvard and Dennis Gasser from the original lineup. Here's the inlay. And this is an excellent modern day thrash metal album. It comes on some transparent green vinyl. Yep, excellent stuff. Just drop sleeve. There's stuff on this like, oh, it's so bloody cold. Have a quick look. Spit Coin is really good. 7 Words, The Altar of Nothing, Reckless with a Smile, My War, Kill and Protect, Anything But the Truth. The riffs on this are absolutely fantastic. And the vocals are really, really good. Like I say, Jay slotted in nicely. And I'm really liking this new Xentrix album. When I first heard it, I was like, yeah, it's okay. But the more I listened to it, the more I was like, this is absolutely fantastic. Excellent modern day thrash from Xentrix. Brilliant. Really glad to finally have it in the collection. Spun it about 2 or 3 times already. Sounds fantastic. Great pressing. Superb album. Excellent modern day thrash from Xentrix. Check it out if you've not heard it. Another album that I've first heard back in about September when it came out. I've reviewed it from the channel. An album that I didn't expect to enjoy anywhere near as much as I do, but it absolutely blew me away. It's fantastic. And it's the latest album from Skid Row. The gang's all here. Eric Gronwall absolutely slotted into this band very, very nicely. It's like he's been there for ages. He sounds fantastic. The band sound completely on form, you know, best they've sounded in years for me personally. And I saw them a few years ago in London with ZP. He used to be in Dragon Force. And they were good with him, it has to be said. But this guy, for me, sounds like he's the perfect replacement for Sebastian. It's got to be said. Printed inner. Just an album that's absolutely blown me away, it's got to be said. Red vinyl, looks really nice. This is an album that's got no bad songs on it at all. There's one that's just slightly weak, but it's certainly not bad by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm just absolutely blown away with this new record. It's just fantastic. Hell or High Water, the gang's all here, title track superb. Time Bomb is really good. When the Lights Come On, Tear It Down, October Song, World on Fire. Yeah, I knew this was coming. I'm glad I finally got it. Brilliant stuff. Absolutely superb stuff from these guys. If you haven't checked it out because you think it's not going to be anywhere near as good as what they were doing back in the day, forget that and go and give it a listen because it's absolutely superb. Another album that I reviewed for the channel, and another one I didn't expect to like anywhere near as much as I did, but Ugly Kid Joe's Rad Wings of Destiny really surprised me. It's not as good as Skid Row, but it's still a really good album that I really, really enjoy. Someone suggested this, listening to this to me, because I'd completely forgotten it was coming out, to be fair. So I'd listened to it and I was genuinely surprised at how good it was. Excellent stuff. Whitfield Crane, for me, a vocalist that was very much underrated. Printed in a sleeve. Let's get it the right way up. There you go. Some lyrics. Yeah, Whitfield sounds fantastic. Saw him live a few months ago in London with Thunder. And they were great. Again, we've got some transparent green vinyl here. Superb stuff. Excellent album. Still got Klaus on the guitars, who's the original member. Whitfield Crane, not Whitfield Crane, sorry, Cordell Crockett on the bass, who's an original member. Can't remember the name of the drummer. But this really surprised me with just how good it is. That Ain't Living's got a proper AC/DC vibe. Not like the others, got a great sing-along chorus. Everything's Changing and Kill the Pain, a very serious sounding song, superb stuff. A completely unnecessary cover of the Kinks' Lola. But Drinking and Driving, Failure, Long Road. Yep, really was surprised by the quality of this and wasn't expecting to love it anywhere near as much as I have. But it's brilliant stuff. Ugly Kid Joe's Rad Wings of Destiny was a very big surprise. But yeah, it's excellent. Really, really enjoy it. On some death metal now. And this is Moulder and Engrossed in Decay. That's the one. Excellent death metal. Quite a few people who in the VC have been showing this recently, so I knew I had to check it out when I saw the people who were showing it, because, you know, when you see people who show a lot of good stuff, and you see 2 or 3 people showing the same thing, you think, I've got to check that out. Listen to it, and it's absolutely phenomenal. Excellent death metal, massive riffs, drums are great, vocals are superb. Some really catchy, stellar riffing, actually. Vocals are excellent. It's a fucking horribly ugly record, though. Look at the state of that. Looks like someone's puked up all over it. I have to say, it looks better when it's on the turntable spinning, but when I hold it up like that, it looks awful. But it's great death metal. I was completely unaware of these guys. And I'm glad I've finally got around to giving it a listen. I wasn't disappointed. Spun it on Spotify about 5 or 6 times and had to get the record. Excellent stuff. Title track's really, really good. Chemically Dissolved. Huff the Stench. Ghastly Mutation. Casca Maggots. This is old school death metal done the right way. Great riffs, great drums, superb vocals. Catchy songs as well, but still brutal. Excellent stuff from Moulder there. Engrossed in Decay is a great album. I'm looking forward to more from these guys, no doubt about it. Up next, some Death Doom, and this is Druid Lord, and I can't remember the bloody name. Relics of the Dead. I'm not taking out the sleeve because it's an absolute bastard to get back in once you've got it out. But Relics of the Dead is an absolutely phenomenal Death Doom album. I've really embraced Death Doom again this year after not really listened to a lot of it over the years. Again, this is shown by quite a few people whose opinions I respect in the VC. And like I say, when you see 2 or 3 people talking about this, saying it's really good, you know you've got to give it a listen. And I wasn't disappointed. This is really sludgy, slow, mid-pace, obviously Death Doom, massive, massive riffs, really huge. Guitars sound fantastic on this record. Excellent vocals. Title track's great. 13 Days of Death, Nightside Conjuring, Festering Tombs, Monarch Macabre. It's just great stuff. Really glad that I picked it up. Just a fantastic album. A lot of these albums as well coming on just the single 1 LP, thank God, and not so much that unnecessary 2 LP bollocks we see so much of these days. You know, 4 or 5 songs per side. You haven't got to keep getting up and flipping it over every sort of 10 or 12 minutes. Sludgy as fuck. Massive riffs. Drums are great. Vocals are superb. Really, really good vocals. Excellent Death Doom from Druid Lord. Again, a band that I wasn't really familiar with till a few months ago. I'm now looking forward to checking out more of them. Absolutely excellent stuff. And one more to show. And this is a classic from the 90s. Classic death metal, technical death metal from Canada. A number I've had for a couple of years on CD, but I had to get the record. It's just an absolute beast. And it's Cryptopsy's None So Vile. Excellent cover artwork here. And just an absolute beast of a record. If you're into technical death metal, and for some reason you haven't heard this, then you've got to grab this. This is absolutely superb. Musicianship from everyone is absolutely phenomenal, especially the drums from Flo. I can't remember his surname off the top of my head, but the guy's drumming is just absolutely phenomenal. Lord Worm on the vocals. The riffage on this is absolutely superb. Record sounds fantastic. Great riffs. Slit Your Guts is just such a great track. It's really, really frantic sounding. Crown of Horns. Dead and Dripping. Phobophile, I think that's how you say it. Just absolutely fantastic stuff. Technical death metal masterpiece. This is really relentless. This isn't if you're new to death metal. If you want something new to, if you're getting into death metal and you want something, this definitely isn't what you want to be listening to, because this is really quite ferocious and intense throughout most of it, to be honest. And it's just a superb album. Glad I finally grabbed it. Cryptopsy's None So Vile from 1996, a technical death metal masterpiece, which should be in everyone's collection if you're into your heavy stuff. Right, guys, that's it for today. Cheers for watching. Get in touch, let me know what you think about these pickups, and I shall catch up with you soon. Like I say, I've got a Zentrix album ranking coming soon. I've got plenty of other new stuff, so there's more collection updates to come. I'll be doing the metal tag, of course, for Scott the Rock Scout. And I shall catch up with you later. So until then, cheers, take care, and see you later.